it was fucking. You put so much pressure on it, man. Like so much fucking pressure.
What
on
are you talking about?
Like competing for the first time, man. When you go fucking
Oh, sorry.
and you feel like for some reason in your head you're gonna go fight fucking Van Damme or someone. You know what I mean? Like not some other spazzy white belt.
Bro, you imagine
like,
you get there, dudes in a vest.
Yeah, man. I was fucking purple about that with that fucking massive dude.
Oh,
man.
bro.
I was like, oh my god. But anyway, I remember like that, man. I think my first fight, I got choked out straight away, man. I think in the first 15 seconds, something like that. Literally, I remember going straight into his guard, and then he just cross collar choked me because I'd only been training for about 4 or 5 months, and I was like, what is even happening? Didn't even know what had happened, man. I remember distinctly walking back to the bullpen and being like, what happened? And then hearing the guy over my shoulder going, well, I'm warmed up then, and I was like, damn. and then just going back to my teammates and just being like, cool, how did you find that? Well, it was very disheartening, to be honest. Was that the same? That was the Nottingham Open.
What was that?
That was the Nottingham Open. The British Open. Then I went back. It was a different performance.
No, but you went into the first fight and you beat the guy like 24.
Oh no, that was my second one. That was at the British Open. My first one was the Nottingham Open. Then
where
the
you
British
got choked.
Open. Yeah.
Yeah, but the British Open.
I 24 pointed in him, and 24 points, 4 advantages, and nothing. I think so stupid, man. Like it was ridiculous.
Did you sub him or did you fucking?
Nah,
just points.
Pointed him, man.
Yeah, but by the end you almost had cardiac arrest.
Yeah, I died, man. Because I remember again, I lost the next one after that. Because I remember going back to the bullpen, lying on the floor, trying to drink water like that, fucking adrenaline dunked. I was like, I got it good. And then I heard over the fucking
eight more fights.
Yeah, heard over the tannoy immediately after Peter Meredith to Matt. Fucking, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I swear that lad had a bias with me, man, because he was just not even sweaty, man. And I was just like, ugh. I think he armbarred me. I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't even think it was that deep, man. I was just like, yeah, fair play, champ.
I'm gonna die.
Fucking, yeah, I'm had enough, man. That's the one where you put that kid to sleep, man.
I was 13 or something.
Yeah, you were like 13 or something. You put him out cold, and I remember I was like, yes, Callum. And then all my team was like, Peter, he's just put a child to sleep. You can't say that. His mom's crying. A little bit then I thought you might have been a serial killer. Because I remember you literally just addressing your belt. Just not really that bothered. And the kid was just on the floor. And everyone was like, oh God, it's so bad. You got feelings, right?
Loop choke.
Loop choke. The loop choke, baby.
Bro, that carried me.
I fucking put our training partner out with that bad boy
Twice,
as well,
didn't
man. Yeah, but I remember I put my mate out in the garden with it. I remember once. That was funny. And then I put in that training session, wasn't it, man? He was a higher belt, man. He was a good dude. I do like training. He was one of my favourite training partners back in the day. And he didn't tap. He started seizuring, and I thought he was resisting. So obviously I put it in tighter. And then I remember the coach being like, Pete, let him go, man. The maddest thing about that was when we lifted his legs up, and obviously he came back too, and I remember coach had one leg in the air and I had the other leg in the air, the kid had been foaming at the mouth, man. I was terrible, you know what I mean? You're scared you kill somebody, innit? And then I remember him just coming to and being like, what the fuck are you doing in here, man? And I was like, wait, what? And he actually looked around, he was so disoriented, he thought he woke up in his bed. I was stood on his bed with the coach, just holding his legs in the air, man. He was didn't know what was going on, man. Just had to sit in the corner for about 5 minutes, just not talking, man. Fucking, yeah. Funny, man, but scared me. But it was mint, because, not that I nearly killed him, but because when I was on about earlier, when I first turned up, and I was fresh, he was one of the killers, man. He smashed the fucking life out of me. You know what I mean? I remember, he broke my nose, man. I remember the reason I got a deviated septum is because he headbutted me in one round, and then in the second, literally, I was like, oh no, it's alright, man, it's alright, man. It wasn't really bleeding, unless you put your finger up, sort of thing. Cheeky. And then he hit me with a fucking forearm as well, man, as he tried to cut up sort of thing for an arm, and he broke my lower septum then, man.
To be fair,
bad.
I remember when I was a teenager, of all the adults I trained, of all the adults I trained with, he's the one who coached me, a little bit more.
Yeah, man,
you give me
he was top dude, man.
Because I'm not gonna lie, a lot of guys back then, it was every night it was just keep your shit together.
Yeah, it was a lot of Shark Tank around, man. It was bad. Not bad. It was
not bad. It was a product. It was a product. It was product of its time.
It was a time as well, though. I think where jiu-jitsu was proud that it had a low low retention, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I think they enjoyed the fact that it was a time where you turned up and you got churned out, man. You know what I mean? Like, they beat the fuck up, like they grappled the shit out of you. You know what I mean? Like, and like you'd quit. You know what I mean? How many people quit back in the day to now? The retention to jiu-jitsu now is massively different to what it was, because it's been created into a business sense model where it's designed to keep people, whereas it never used to be.
I do think as well there's been a shift.
Smart.
A shift of like how jiu-jitsu is taught and sort of portrayed, in the sense that like I feel like when we got into jiu-jitsu was considered a lot more of a fight than it was a sport.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't get me wrong, it was technical, but
You
it was
encouraged
like
to do all the horrible pressure.
Yeah, it was like very.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was very. Whereas now it's like it's so refined, and you've got so many people around the world.
The gi
like,
has definitely gone towards that, hasn't it, man?
Well, even no-gi, bro. Like you know, a lot of people like. What annoys me is when people go like, "Oh God, no-gi, it's not as technical as the gi." It's like they're both equally as technical.
Yeah,
they're two different sports. It's like, you know, you can get benefits from cross-training, but you know, if you spend more time in one than the other,
is athleticism and stuff tells more in no-gi. That's the only difference.
But then you see some of these gi guys, and they're jacked.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. No,
Like,
but I'm just saying that it's easier to control a jack dude in a gi than in a no-gi.
Yeah,
like, that's what I'm getting at. Like personally, anyway, I think. And I find it difficult to control anybody. So how the sport's evolving, it's becoming more mainstream because it's not like, you know.
But it seems a lot. It seems a lot more of a game to me now than it was back in the back in the day. It was like you were taught things to like just finish people, and like I don't know. There's a lot more nuance to like positional control and like camping, and you know you cook them here kind of like. There's so much deeper thought into it now, like, and it's so much more tactical than it was back then, because it was like, here's a Kimura. Here's a head and arm choke. Here's a pass. Here's no underpass. Here's a knee cut. And now it's like, here's a knee cut, but you can switch it to this. And if that doesn't work, you put your head hit. And
it's like anything, it's evolved, doesn't it?
Bro.
That's again, though, falls back to what we were on about earlier. The reason why to be a good coach, you still need to train. To you know,
you got to keep with the times.
You got to stay up with everything, because the sport evolves, and this is why you can still be doing it as long as we've been doing it, and still be excited to train. Because you're not just training the same fucking shit over and over and over again. It's always evolving.
I think being open,
style changes.
I think being open-minded to like everyone's perspective. Like, I'm not saying like, you know, well, actually I am saying it. You can learn from anyone. Yeah. Like,
even a blue belt can teach you at the end of the day.
The thing is, it's like, I think the problem with the gi is there's always kind of been this like hierarchy thing where it's like, you are a white belt, you are a blue belt, you're a purple belt, and it's almost like each of those belts come with conditions and privileges. Like, sorry, no, it sounds like I'm getting like really.
It is very cultish, but it's like,
I said not cultish, but it's just kind of the culture. It's that more traditional sense, and some people like that. Whereas no-gi, I find it's the great equalizer, because you don't see a person's level until you actually link up in sparring, and then you learn some shit about it. Bro, I've trained with people for like, I am never more anxious than when a motherfucker comes from another gym and someone goes to me, he's quite good, and I'm like, and immediately I'm like, how good? I'm like, because I'm there and I'm going like, is this guy gonna like dive in on a leg lock straight away? You know what I mean? Like, not because it's like, oh fuck, I don't want to lose this guy, but it's more like, what kind of tempo are we going? Like, where?
This leans heavily into my belief in, you don't have to compete, if you know what I mean, to improve at jiu-jitsu. You can train in your own club, man, but if you want to get that same thing without the pressure of it, go train at another gym, man. You go there, man, you're going to get the same smoke you're going to get in a competition, because they want to prove to you that their shit works. You know what I mean? Just as much as you want to prove to them that your shit works. So you don't need to pay 50 quid. You can literally just go pay a tenner, drop-in fee, whatever, and get the same smoke, but you're going to have about 10, 15 rounds, because you've got all these people of different level, on, you know what I mean? And the beautiful thing is you become mates, become friends, the community grows, like, you know what I mean? Competition's good, but you don't need to just do that. I feel like, you know what I mean, you can get the same benefits from just gym hopping.
I feel like for me as well, like, I can, like, it gets to a certain point with competing where it's like you've got to start looking at how much time am I allocating to studying, development, trial, technique, working on shit. Because it's like if you compete, like, oh, it's the wind. It was good. Like,
I think
and
you
I
need
think
to have
it is
good
good
support with it, with
but you need to have
team,
good support
your
with your team, and you also have to have time where it's like, you know, for me, it was like over that time during COVID, taking time off, and then when I finally came back,
time off.
Like having time off, time off, having time off, but then coming back and being like, you know what, I'm just gonna focus on working some shit, because it was like just had no takedowns, fucking, all I could do was play guard. And if people got past, it was like I had no real.
I know when we went back to classes and you're in that little fucking box.
What box?
When we had that, literally, it was like the size of this match place now, isn't it, sort of thing. We went back to training just after COVID.
Oh shit, man.
And like, they taped out little areas and shit like that. And it was like, are you fucking kidding me? I don't remember, literally, you'd be like, slap bump, and I'd be in fucking some dude over there's box man, fucking. It was like, you can't contain me with your tape. Well, what you had to do was you had to find a gym that was run by an ex-gangster. Yeah. And then basically what you had to do was you had to chuck him a bit of cash, text a few of your mates on the side, and then there was a hole in the back of this industrial unit you used to go through. And yeah, that's how you do it.
True story.
Yeah.
Plausible deniability.
Yeah. I've heard that's how you did it anyway. I heard
through a friend.
That if
a
you
reliable source.
An industrial unit where people were still working and they were used to high flow cars and that, then you got away with murder, innit? That's what I heard. But I wouldn't do it.
It's not recommended.
It was going to kill 10% of the population, remember? And then they did open back up again. I remember, like, you could literally just fucking go. You could go, but it was like taped little bits, and then make sure that you're with the same training partner. Because it's like, yeah, but I'm in a room where if it's passed by people breathing or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you've been in manifesting it. We've all been there. Like when you can't see two people over, and it's like foggy in there and stuff like that.
Those are the best sessions.
Yeah, man.
Like I know some. I'm not gonna lie. From an outside perspective looking in, I completely get it. You'd look at that and go, "That's fucking disgusting."
That's
but yeah, but that's part of the charm.
Yeah.
Like, bro, when you're there in the mist. You shoot a takedown and you slip, and it's like, oh god, and you're trying not to fall on your face.
Past though, man, you just see your dude bursting through, and it sounds like two bears fighting over a salmon.
That does not sound like they're fighting for salmon, bro. Oh, look at it. Orgy of it.
You don't want to get sweaty, boys.
No warm-up! No warm-up! Oh, he's going into his body lock. Oh, you know your judo well.
Fuck you.